Hare Krishna, bienvenidos a Atman Media. Welcome to Atman Media. So today we're going to start with chapter 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord in the Heart. So giving my humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, Namaham Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamini, Namaste. Saraswati Devi Karavani Pacharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Patya Jaisatari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Canto 1, Chapter 2. The Lord in the Heart, Canto 2, Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart. So, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, formerly, prior to the manifestations of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virat Rupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord, though he was able to reveal the creation as it was before. The way of presentation of the Vedic sound is so bewildering that it directs the intelligence of the people to meaningless sin, like the heavenly kingdoms. The conditioned souls hover in dreams of such heavenly, illusory pleasures, but actually they do not relish any tangible happiness in such places. For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life, while in the world of names, he should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering, or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing? Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned health? Thus being fixed, one must render service unto the super soul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency, because he is the Almighty Personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited, is the ultimate goal of life. By worshipping him, one can end the cause of the conditional state of existence. Who else, by the gross materialistic, will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non-permanent names only, seeing the mass of people falling in the river of suffering as the consequence of accruing the result of their own work? Others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches, with 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a conch shell, and a club, respectively. His mouth expresses his happiness, his eyes spread like the petal of a lotus, and his garments, yellowish like the saffron of a kadamba flower, are bedecked with valuable jewels. His ornaments are made of gold, set with jewels, and he wears a glowing hairdress earrings. The lotus feet are placed over the world of the lotus-like heart of great mystics. On his chest is the Kastuba jewel, engraved with beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with fresh flowers. Is well decorated with an ornament wreath about his waist and rings studded with valuable jewels on his fingers. His necklets, his bangles, his oil hair, curling with a bluish tint, and his beautiful smile, face are all very pleasing. The Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glancing of his smiling face are all indication of his extensive benedictions. One must therefore concentrate on this transcendental form of the Lord as long as the mind can be fixed on him by meditation. The process of meditation should begin from the lotus feet of the Lord and progress to his smiling face The meditation should be concentrated upon the lotus feet, then the calf, then the thighs, and in this way higher and higher. The more the mind becomes fixed upon the different parts of the limbs of one after another, the more the intelligence becomes purified. Unless the gross materialistic develops a sense of loving service unto the Supreme Lord, the seer of both the transcendental and material worlds, it should remember or meditate upon the universal form of the Lord at the end of his prescribed duties. O King, whenever the yogi desires to leave this planet of human beings, it should not be perplexed about the proper time or place. It should comfortably sit without being disturbed, and regulating the life air should control the senses by the mind. Thereafter, the yogi should merge his mind by his unalloyed intelligence into the living entity, and then merge the living entity into the superself. And by doing this, the fully satisfied living entity becomes situated in the supreme stage of satisfaction, so that he ceases from all other activities. In that transcendental state of Labdopasanti, there is no supremacy of devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods, who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And what to speak of the demigods themselves? Nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, nor even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. The transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that supreme situation in which everything is related to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexities, but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart. By the strength of scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization, and thus be able to distinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole through which stool is evacuated with the heel of one's foot, and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the 6 primary places. The meditative devotee to slowly push up the life air from the navel to the heart, and from there to the chest, and from there to the root of the palate. It should search out the proper places with intelligence. Thereafter, the bhakti yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows, and then, blocking the 7 outlets of the life air, it should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desire for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connection, having gone to the Supreme. So, this is very interesting. Here, I see two things here. One is that the description of God within the heart is given here in this second chapter by Sukadeva Goswami. He explains that the personality of Godhead that is residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches. And he carry with 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell, and a club, respectively. So this is very interesting. How a yogi or a bhakti yogi can be able to see the Supreme Lord within himself. And then he prepared himself to leave the body eventually. So he doesn't care about the time or the well, in Bhagavad Gita mentioned that the yogis leave the body in the 6 months of the solar of the soul when there is the sun is there. So, but over here we can read that where is it? That we can read that the yogi, no, but that the yogi really doesn't care about the time. He just cares about thinking about the Supreme Lord that is within the heart. And the description of the Lord, that He is well decorated, is very interesting. How can we be able to see God within our heart? And how a person that has been practicing bhakti yoga for such a long time can be able to concentrate his mind at the time of passing away and not be disturbed by concentrating his mind on the Lord Himself, within himself. So he is able to meditate on that Supreme Lord, starting from the feet of the Lord and progress all the way up to see His smiling face, concentrating in such a deep concentration. That person, that bhakti yogi, he's able to see the lotus feet, and then he move up to the calf, then to the thighs, then to higher and higher, and then the mind becomes fixed in different parts of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, one after another, and that intelligence of that person, of that bhakti yogi, becomes purified. I wish I can be able to have that kind of concentration on that the Supreme Lord. Due to our materialistic way of living, it's very difficult to detach from this material atmosphere, but we can see that it's possible. So it says that seer, that's the seer of both the transcendental and material worlds. It should remember or meditate upon the universal form of the Lord at the end of his prescribed duties. O king, whenever the yogi desires to leave this planet of human being, it should not be perplexed about the proper time or place. This is a key. It should not be perplexed. We should not worry about when is our time to go, because that person should just comfortably sit, not be disturbed by the elements around it, and regulate the life air. Now I know why they practice pranayama. It's very important practicing pranayama because it relaxes you. It helps you in your, what do you call that, your nervous system. It relaxes your nervous system. I tried it, I done it, and does work. It does work. So now that I'm reading this, I can see how a bhakti yogi, which is actually more than just a yogi, more than just practicing respiration techniques, but he actually have developed love for God in this lifetime or next lifetime or whenever he is able to. But that person is not perplexed anymore about the circumstances of life, whatever life brings. That's what he takes. So he's not perplexed. He's not disturbed. It just reminds me of that verse that it says, that is not disturbed, that is sober. It's a dira. No, they use the word dira in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Dira, a person that is sober, a person that has been able to control his mind. Now we know that in this material world, with all the things going on, all the wars that are going on, people killing each other for a piece of land that is not even theirs, people wanting to exploit the resources of Mother Earth, exploit the resources to make some people more comfortable. Like in the African countries, let's say, some Western countries are exploiting African countries by removing those resources so they can have an electric car, just to give an example, just to have a Tesla. And just so for one guy to have a Tesla that costs $100,000, $300,000, I don't know how much it costs, thousands of people are suffering. So this is what it is people are suffering. One type of people are enjoying life with the money that they have. With the money that they have, they are making other people suffer. So the yogi, it says here in this Srimad Bhagavatam, should merge his mind by his unalloyed intelligence. And this is another key point. Even in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna always speaks about using your intelligence. Over here in Srimad Bhagavatam, the yogi to use his intelligence. No? It's very important that we use our God-given intelligence so we can overcome this material world by attaching ourselves to Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that we can just overcome these energies by him, by his help. So, the transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that the supreme situation in which everything is related to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Now, we can say, oh, we're going to just avoid everything. No, we don't avoid everything. We use everything for the service of Krishna. That is the purpose. So whatever we have, we can use it for the service of Krishna in such a way that it can help us realize that Supreme Personality or Godhead is seen in our hearts, so we can be able to see Him. That's why it says here in the Srimad Bhagavatam that a pure devotee, that's very rare. Therefore, he says, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexities, not for himself, not for anybody else, but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart. Another words that are used here that are given by Srila Prabhupada in his what do you call that? In his translation, he also used this. It's very common to see this by the strength of scientific knowledge, or there's another word that they use that Srila Prabhupada uses is by the culture of knowledge. Here in text 19 of the second chapter of Canto 2, it says, by the strength of scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. By scientific knowledge. What is that scientific knowledge? That scientific knowledge is given here in Srimad Bhagavatam, is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. and start with trying to uh, to follow some regulative principles, not as a rule, but as a tool to help us gain more understanding about the process of bhakti yoga. Okay. Now, there's one thing here. He says that one should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole. So that means that the person, bhakti yogi, is also a person who has also practiced. Uh, what is the name of that other part of that yoga? Hatha yoga. Hatha yoga. That means that the person is also practice hatha yoga. So a bhakti yogi has been also practicing all type of yoga because even though it's not necessary, but nowadays it's not necessary. This is we're talking about this what is given in this Srimad Bhagavatam, but nowadays it's not necessary to practice hatha yoga. But over here, it gives a glimpse that bhakti yoga is also used to practice other type of yoga, like hatha yoga, because they practice certain asanas to be able to leave the body whenever he feel that it's the time to go. Now, and it says here, thereafter, the bhakti yogi to push the life air up between the eyebrows, and then blocking the seven outlets of the life air, he should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. But that actually is the aim, to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, we can do that by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, of course. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri.
So by practicing of the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which by doing that chanting of the Mahamantra, we are completing the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, hearing, Shravanam, Kirtan, and so on, Vandanam, worshipping the deities, So it is interesting how we can go in this use Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can see what everything that has been done by other devotees in order to maintain themselves fit in the process of Krishna consciousness. And here it says that if a yogi maintains a desire for improved material enjoyments, like transferring to topmost planet Brahmaloka or the achievement of the eightfold perfection, traveling out of space with the Vihayasas, or a situation in one of the millions of planets, then he has to take away with him the material molded mind and senses. Which we don't want to do that, because Bhakti Yoga don't want to transfer to any other planet or Brahmaloka or any planet where they can continue enjoying their senses. A Bhakti Yoga doesn't want that, but if that happens, then his materially motivated mind and senses travel with him. So this is interesting. That's why I like to read Srimad Bhagavatam, because I find the knowledge is there, the culture of knowledge is there, that can help us transcend this material body. So, Hare Krishna, I think it's good enough, 24 minutes. We then going to continue from text 24 next time. Hare Krishna, have a nice day.